Okay, this is problems starting with number 5 off of your graphing piecewise functions worksheet. So this, let's start with number 5. I'm going to graph this one first. F of x equals negative x plus 1. So my y-intercept is positive 1, and my slope is negative 1. Okay, that's a negative 1 in front of x, so that means I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1, or I could go up 1 to the left 1. So I'm just going to graph this entire line, and then I'm going to erase the part that I don't need. Okay, so that's that entire line. Now, they want only where x is less than or equal to 0. So I'm going to go to 0, and they want from this point to the left because they said x is less than or equal to 0. So I'm going to erase the part that I don't need. So I don't need any of this part. Okay, and then I also need to check, is it going to be an open or closed circle at 0? It's going to be closed because it's also equal to. All right, now let's do the other one. I'm going to do it in a different color. My second equation is negative 4/3 x minus 4, where x is greater than 0. So my y-intercept is negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is negative 4/3. So that means I could go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. Or I could go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to the left 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's that line. All right, now for this line, they want where x is greater than 0. So here's 0, my x-axis. So they want from this point to the right. So I didn't even have to draw this other part of this line. Okay, and at 0, since it's x is greater than 0, that means I'm going to have an open circle here. So that's what your graph for number 5 should look like. Is this a function? Yes, it's a function, because if I did the vertical line test, I would only pass through one point at a time. When for this one, f of negative 4, that means when my x value is negative 4, what is my y value? Well, this one's pretty easy to see. I can just look at my graph. So when x is negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, what is my y value? Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So f of negative 4 is 5. F of 0, they want this point right here because it's colored in. They don't want this one because it's an open circle. So when x is 0, my y value is 1. F of 3, 1, 2, 3, so they want this point right there. So when x is 3, my y value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, negative 8. Okay, and that's my answers. So let me go ahead and get rid of these. Oops. Okay, so your graph should look like that. And then we have our answers. Okay, so let's do number 6. Negative 3, where x is less than or equal to 3. So remember, when you have just a line like this is like saying y equals negative 3. That's a horizontal line at negative 3. So a horizontal line at negative 3, 1, 2, 3. I have this line. Now, they only want where x is less than or equal to 3. So I'm going to start right here when x is 3, and I want to the left of it. So I need to get rid of this part right here. Okay, and it's going to be a closed circle because it's also equal to. So there's the first part of that line. X is less than or equal to 3. The next part of the line, 2x minus 5, where x is greater than 3. So negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my starting point. My slope is 2, so I'm going to go up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Up 2, 1, 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. So here is that line. and they want where x is greater than 3. So I'm going to find 3 on the x-axis, find my point on the graph, and they want from this point to the right because it says greater than. So I need to go back and erase this part right here. Oh, next is 3. All right, so then I have to figure out, is this going to be an open or closed circle? It's going to be an open circle when x is 3 because it also doesn't have that equal sign underneath. I'm going to go back and kind of fix this one a little bit. Okay. All right, so that's what your graph should look like. Is this a function? Yes, this is a function because if I do the vertical line test, it's only going to pass through one point at a time. This is asking for our y values. So when x is negative 4, what is my y value? So 1, 2, 3, 4, my y value is negative 3. When x is 0, what is my y value? Well, it's negative 3. And when x is 3, what is my y value? Well, my y value is still negative 3 because I have a closed circle here at negative 3 and an open circle here at 1. Okay. All right, number 7, write equations for the piecewise functions. Assume that the units are 1 for every tick mark, so they're going by ones. All right, so let's find the equation of this line right here. All right, there's a line, and then this is going to be a different equation. So my y-intercept for this line is 0. Okay, so I know 0 is my y-intercept. We'll just write it out. The slope of this line, if I pick 2 points, if I pick this point right here and this point, like, can you see that my slope is 1? I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So y equals 1x plus 0. Okay, we'll just leave it like that for right now. Now for this one, here's going to be an equation for a different line. Oh, and down here for my blue line, where did it start? It started at 0, so x starts at 0, and it's less than or equal to 0 because it went to the left. Okay? This should have, there we go. All right. So let's do the red line. My red line, y-intercept again is 0. I always do that first. Now let's pick 2 points and find the slope. If I pick this point and this point, my slope would be 2 because I'll go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Okay, so 2x plus 0. And this one's going to be where x is greater than or equal to 0. So here's how we are going to write our answers. Okay, to make it look like a piecewise function, we're going to say f of x equals, we're going to write it kind of like they did for theirs. See how they wrote theirs? So f of x equals x, 1x, so I just put x plus 0, but I'm not going to put the 0, where x is less than or equal to 0. And 2x, oops, 2x, where x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so let's look at number 8. Let's find the equation of the blue line first. So this blue line, now if I continue this blue line out, do you see that it's going to cross the y-axis right there? Okay, so let's write our y-intercept first. Our y-intercept, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is 5. My slope, do you see that I went up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1? So my slope is 1x. Now, let's write down where they started. They started this at yx value. So 1, 2, negative 2, where x is less than negative 2 because it went to the left. And it's not going to be equal to because it's an open circle there. My red line is just this horizontal line that's going to be easy. Where is that horizontal line? Well, it's at negative 2. My y value is a negative 2. And that's going to start at an x value of negative 2. Whoops. and it's going to go to the right. So that's going to be x is greater than or equal to negative 2, equal to because it's shaded in, greater than because it's going to the right. So the way you'd kind of clean this up to make it look all nice and neat, f of x equals x plus 5, where x is less than negative 2, and negative 2, where x is greater than or equal to negative 2. Okay, number 8. Okay, this time we have 3 lines. So let's do the red one first. The red line's going to go right here. If I extended it all the way out, it's going to cross right there. So let's find our y-intercept first. Our y-intercept where it crosses the y-axis is 2. The slope, can you tell, is going to be 1. They went up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So that's going to be 1x. Now, where did they start? They started when x is negative 1. Do you see that? So when x is less than or equal to negative 1, because they started at negative 1, they went to the left, and it's closed circle. Okay, let's do the blue line. Our blue line is going to be this line right here. So our y-intercept, it crosses the y-axis at 3, and my slope again is 1. They went up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Now this time, since I have a starting point and an end point, we're going to look and see where did this start. Okay, it started when x is negative 1, and it ended when x is 1. So here's how you would write that. My starting point's negative 1, my x is in the middle, and it ends at positive 1. It's not equal to because I have open circles for each. Okay, so now let's find our third line. That can be our purple line. Okay, right here, if I extend this out, it's going to cross right through there. So y equals, my y-intercept would be a positive 1, and my slope again is 1 because they went up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. They started when x is what? When x is 1. So they started when x is greater than or equal to 1 because they went to the right. Now, how I would write this to clean it up, we're going to say f of x equals x plus 2, where x is less than or equal to negative 1, x plus 3, where x is between negative 1 and 1, and x plus 1, where x is greater than or equal to 1. That's number 9. Okay, I'm going to give you a second to write that down because I'm going to erase this so we can do number 10. Okay, let me get rid of some of this so I can have room for number 10. All right, so number 10. Let's do this blue line first. Now this blue line is going to be a little different. Okay, if I picked, let's see, because we have to find out what our y-intercept would be. All right, so the y-intercept, if I pick this point right here and this point right here, let's do our slope first because that's going to be easier to do first. If I go from here up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1, so I have a slope of 3. So if I go up 3, 1, 2, 3, if I extend this out, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. So 1, 2, 3. Do you see? If I extended this out, I'm at the 4th mark above here. It's kind of hard to tell. So this goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm up 4 more. So my y-intercept is actually going to be a positive 10. Okay, it's kind of hard to tell because it goes off our graph. Okay, so We start that, okay, at y x value when x is less than or equal to negative 2. This point right here, there's my blue line, starts when x is negative 2. So now let's do our red line. Our red line starts from here to here. Okay, well, that's an easy one. A horizontal line at 1, 2, 3, 4. I start at negative 2 and I end at positive 2. So I could write negative 2 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 2, like that. And then our last line is going to be this line right here. Now, can you tell that this line and this line are the exact same line but going in opposite directions? Okay, so if this line was 3x plus 10, if I extended this line out, I would cross again at 10. But instead of having a slope of a positive 3, this has a slope of negative 3 because it's going down. And it starts, okay, it starts, oh, I probably shouldn't have erased all those, but that's okay. Okay, it starts when x is 2. So where x is greater than or equal to positive 2. So to clean that up a little bit, here's how I would write it. Okay, and I'm going to write it over here. So we want it to look like our other problems. 3x plus 10, where x is less than or equal to negative 2. 4, where x is between negative 2 and 2. And negative 3x plus 10, where x is greater than or equal to 2. Okay? So now we're going to go to the last one, number 10, or number 11. Okay, these are actually not too bad, okay, because they're horizontal lines. All right, let's do our blue one first. So from here to here. That's the line y equals 1. And I start at 0 and I end at 2. Now I have is also equal to at 0 because it's closed, open at 2. This one is going to be 1, 2, 3, y equals 3 from 2 to, where does that end? 4. This one, okay, is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it starts at 4 and ends at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, to make it look a little bit nicer, it's going to look like this. 1 between 0 and 2. 3 between 2 and 4. 5 between 4 and 6. This is also called a step function, okay, because they kind of look like steps. All right, that's it. Make sure you correct all the problems that you've got wrong and make sure that they're all completed. You're going to turn this in to me tomorrow.